Hello everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's video, I'm going to be making some miniature art with a holiday theme. And the only thing specifically to the holiday theme is this little chipboard cutout and this little image. Now this little image I found at Graphics Fairy. I'll have all the information in the supply list. And this little chipboard cutout was part of a package that Joe picked up for me while we were at a haul at Michael's, and he likes to find things to challenge me because this is out of my comfort zone, so he likes to find things to challenge me to see what I can create. Everything else is basically stuff you already have in your art stash. Some gesso, some matte medium to glue. I'm going to add a little bit of crackle glaze to this. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet, and and a little bit of varnish. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. No big deal. So I did some prep work ahead of time to save some drying time. So what I've done is I've cut out a whole bunch of little pieces out of packaging, popcorn packaging, protein bar packaging, okay? And you can cut these any size you want. And this project can be done any size you want. I'm going to do this project 2.5 by 3.5 because you can use this as a card, an artist trading card. You can use it as anything you want, but I have so much of these, I want to use them up. Okay, and then what I've done is I've taken some Deco Art Media black gesso and I applied it to the front. So I did a few to show you some ideas. And on the back, I'm going to apply white. With the theme for the holidays, for this particular design, I'm choosing red. So I've picked out elements that kind of go with each other. So red wire and the red stars are close in color to the redness of the little girl's cheeks. I'm going to be using some mixes of acrylic paint to match the background of her wings and the blanket. And the black gesso will go with the card as long as with the music paper. So everything ties in together. One really simple way to pull a background into your design is don't completely cover it. And you may not see this, but this is packaging from the popcorn. And I used the black gesso, but didn't completely cover it. So I have some red showing through. Okay, and same as this one. I have a little bit of red showing through. And although this is the actual protein bar name where it's cut, it adds to part of the background. So it's completely up to you how you want to do this. And I actually like this one because it's not completely painted. I like that. All right, so just to show you what I'm talking about, if you don't have black gesso, use black acrylic paint. I just like using gesso, especially on glossy surfaces, because it helps stuff stick. Now I wet my brush for this one just to show you how well the stuff shows through when it's thinner. Okay, and then let it dry, then you can apply multiple layers if your brush is wet. Now if your brush is dry, let me just blot as much moisture out of this as I can. This is really, you pull the backgrounds so easily into your piece. All you're doing is fuzzing out all the details in the back. So you've got a little bit of text there. You probably can't even see. And then you can just take a little bit of a baby wipe and just blot some stuff. As long as you don't blot out too much stuff to where things can be actually identified. Okay, so you have an interesting background there. Okay, so that's what you can do. And put that aside. And then this one here, I can put just a little bit more. It's always best to start light and then you can build it up because you don't have to cover everything. This is just packaging. I didn't have to buy anything to use this. Okay, that's what makes this such an ideal project is that I didn't have to buy the cardstock. For next year, I'm going to be using playing cards for the for the backgrounds. So I'm just going to do a gentle dry rinse on my brush. I'm not going to get all the black out. I'm not worried about it. Pick up some gesso, and I'm just going to gesso the back. And if I get a little bit of black on the back of the card, no big deal. So just doing the same thing. Now the white gesso, it'll be harder to cover what's on your card, but you could use that to your advantage as well. If you want to save time, do this all ahead of time. Don't start a project by having to prep with gesso. You can prep all your cards at once. As well, you can always collage some stuff on the back. I did have one nice one I can use. Yeah, that's a nice one too. See, and then the more layers of gesso you add, you can apply it smoothly, you can apply it roughly. It's all up to you. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm gonna put that aside. Yeah, but when you prep your pieces ahead of time, sometimes the prepping kind of sucks the creativity out of you. To me, it's, you know, neither here nor there. I kind of just go with the flow with that. But when you're making a lot of cards, or a lot of art, a lot of miniature stuff, it's easier to do everything ahead of time. Now, I'm doing a lot of miniature art because I went through a period of about 3 years where my eyesight was so bad and I couldn't see anything. So I'm going to take advantage of the small art. Okay, I am going to be putting paper on this. Let me just quickly dry this. So for the supplies, like I said, we got white gesso, black gesso, and everything's Decor Art media. The matte medium, crackle glaze, soft touch varnish, and some Decor Art media fluid acrylics, phthalo turquoise, phthalo green blue, and titanium white. I also have an Andy Skinner stencil, Whirlpool, and some Decor Art paper, Victorian Romance. All right, so where do we get started? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stencil because I want that in the background. And this stencil, it doesn't really matter how you, and this card's actually going to be this way, this little piece of art. And you know what? Let me do this first. So I'm going to take a little bit of phthalo turquoise, and this is already too much paint. Phthalo green blue. I'm going to put out equal amounts. And let's mix that up. Yeah, it's already way too much, but I'm going to use it for something else. And what I'm looking for is to match the green that's in here, and then a touch of white on the side, and gently start bringing the white in. Not too much because it can really make it opaque. And if you can't match it exactly, don't worry about it. I've already done this mix before, so I know what colors to use. So that's not bad. It's a bit too green, so I'm going to go in with a little bit more blue. And I'm actually going to darken it. So let's say 2 parts of the phthalo turquoise, 1 part phthalo green blue, and 1 part titanium white. This is going to be in the background. I don't want it to take away from the details. I'm going to use a small little 1/4 inch stencil brush, and let's just do that. And I'm just very roughly doing it. I'm not going for perfect detail. Again, it's in the background, and the music paper will cover up a lot of it. Just want a little bit of detail. It's just to break up the black. Because the black is already broken up by not being covered down here, there's going to be ribbon here, or I can just turn it this way so part of it shows. Not sure yet. And this stencil is super easy to clean. I love the stencils that Decor Art have done with this really, really thick plastic. Alrighty. So the next step now, I want to take this music paper. Now this is from the Victorian Romance line of the Deco Art paper. Pulling towards me shows a really nice edge to it. And I want to put it right about there. So the dry fit idea, what I'm thinking of is, I did a fussy cut of the little girl, which I was not happy with because I hate fussy cutting. And this ribbon I picked up at Michael's. Picked it up for, it was on sale. It wasn't $3.99. I think it was like $1.25 or something. So the idea that I'm going with here is something like that. And then I've got this wire that Joe found for me at the dollar store. I'm going to lay that in there and then put that there where it's going to be sticking up. That's what I'm going for. So I've got the blue in the background for her wings, the red, 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 same tone as the cheeks, and the black of the card, the black in here. How simple is that? I get people asking me, how do you pick your colors? I try to just take my focal point and pull the colors from this. It just makes it so much easier. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to need this color. And I'm thinking to myself, as soon as I wipe it up, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I do need it. Generally off camera, I will just put that into another journal. Let me get this out of the way. Don't need that anymore. And don't need that brush anymore. All right, let's do some collaging. And this is a very specific order on how I'm doing this because everything has to be layered. I'm not edging the music paper. I'm not edging the sides of it. I am going to apply this all over. And just off a little bit, like that. And apply another layer. Because I did the tear, I wonder if I can get that folded over. It's kind of too short. Because I did the tear on the paper, it creates a beautiful deckled edge which just blends right into the background. And while I'm here, I'll just quickly apply that. The more layers of medium that you add, it just adds more protection, especially if you're going to be giving these as gifts. You want it to, you don't want the stuff falling apart or to sell. Okay, so that can get put away. Now the next step, let's see, a little girl. So I want to get as much of her as possible. I'm thinking just putting her right about here. Okay, why I put that away, I don't know. Now I printed the cutout from Graphics Fairy, amazing website by the way, on cardstock. Right to the edge. Put that down. And another layer of matte medium on top of that. I also didn't vintage the edge of her wings. You can if you want. You can use, and if you're on the Graphics Fairy website, use whatever image you want. You don't have to make a holiday card. I'm just trying to get myself into the holiday spirit, that's all. Okay, and from here now, I'm thinking of that. So I would typically use my glue gun for this. So the experiment, I like to try to do at least one experiment throughout every single project. The experiment for this one is using the matte medium as a glue on fabric. You have to use a good amount on that. and it'll dry clear. Oh, and that humming you hear in the background, that's the furnace. Somebody sent me a message saying, what is that humming in the background all the time? That's the furnace. And I'm already thinking I probably should just use the glue gun, because this is going to take a long time to dry. Okay, and let me fire up the glue gun because I need a glue gun anyways. Yeah, you know what? Not happy with that. I'm not going to use the matte medium for that. I just don't like the way that it's setting. I'll put that back there. Okay, so while that's warming up, the wire. What I did with the wire, and again, Joe just picked up stuff at the dollar store. I wanted to put that in here, and it's just I just wrapped it, took it out, and I did on a blank card. Yeah, because now it's getting sticky. Took it out, then wrapped it again, and then you get all these kinks. I mean, you can even crumple it up just to get all these kinks. I did not want it smooth. Just be careful you don't Gumby pokey yourself. I want it nice and with all these little kinks and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is we'll come back in a few minutes once the glue gun is warmed up, and then we'll put this thing together. While the glue gun's warming up, I might as well finish the back of this. I'm going to get my matte medium, and I'm going to apply that. And you don't have to do this. You can do whatever you want to the back. I just want to do something a little fun. And in that same paper pack, there's this paper here which matches her wings, so it'd be absolutely perfect. And I had a piece already cut out from another project. I was demonstrating how to use a decal ruler. So I'm just going to apply this right sideways, the Texas sideways. I don't want that white text showing. Just like that. And tear the paper. Oh, that didn't work. I'll have to cut it. I don't like using scissors when paper is wet. Yes, I can let it dry, but I'm impatient today. All right. And then I'm going to take this music paper, apply a coat to that. And if you want something a bit shinier, then use like the decoupage medium, like in the glossy. They even have a glitter one, which is pretty. I'm going to put that right there. And then I'm going to actually knock that down a bit with a little bit of gesso, because I want to show you how you can finish the back if you're going to use this as an artist trading card or a little gift. That way you don't need to actually put another tag on it. These are little art pieces all by themselves. And one nice thing about these is that if you have some cardstock or some greeting card blanks, you put that right on the front. I mean, it's perfect. Perfect for that. All right, let me get rid of these little pieces of paper. Doesn't take long for that to dry. And just quickly hit this with the heat gun. And I'm going to use a different brush. I don't want to contaminate my gesso. And just with a dry brush, and I'm just going to push that back. Actually, that works out quite nice too. I'm going to use my fingers for this one. I like this. You just got to be careful when you do this that if your paper's not 100% flat, you run the risk of tearing it. just like that. Okay. Okay, let me get this stuff out of the way. I don't think I'm going to need that anymore. Put that in the water. Alrighty. Oh no, I got paint on little girl. On my hands. That's terrible. Okay. See that it's all wet. I'll have to cut another piece. I'll have to cut another piece. Which piece was what? This stuff's already pricey enough as it is. I don't want to waste anything. And yes, I did say I was going to get a smaller glue gun. Couldn't find one. So that's, I'm going to go right on the very edge. Push that down. Okay, note to self that when I'm working with gesso, make sure I wash my hands after. Mind you, on this, the gesso flakes look like it's snow. Oh, the kids are outside. I can hear the kids outside. Mia's not here. I'm probably gonna start hearing them scream, Mia, Mia. And just off the side on that one. Perfect. Got that. And I'm gonna take a look at that ribbon that I used the matte medium later and see how it turned out. Oh, that's a little bit crooked. That's okay. Now for this. Start that off on the back. Oh no, hang on. I gotta do something else first. Okay, so where is it? If you want to, oh, where is it? Oh, I'll just use this one here. If you want to use this as a trading card, you can use little journaling lines and little sentiment, and you can actually just stamp it right there. I'm going to show you how to do that because I can always cover this up. And I just picked up, and you can even just hand write what you want. You can even get, you know, this thing here. I picked that up for, I think, either 99 cents or $1.99. It was on clearance. And I'm just going to make sure that stamp is not the same thickness. Crap. Okay. So just something like that. And then, and these stencils here, I have no idea, whoops, where you could get them. Just anything. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can use whatever color you want. You can use whatever ink you want. It's just Winter Wonderland. And you can write whatever you want. Because this ink is the Distress inks and it's water soluble, I can wipe it off. There we go, done. So let's put that aside. So that's how you can finish the back. Let me just quickly dry that. The reason why I had to do that first, because you couldn't stamp if you had a wire. So if I want to put that there, and all I'm going to do is wrap. And what I want to make sure is that the ends, the actual ends of the wire are in the back, not in the front. cross them over like that. And I will be putting something on the back of this because I don't want people poking themselves. Just like that. I didn't put the ribbon over far enough, you know that? Okay, so how can I fix that? There we are, just like that. Just like that, no biggie. I'm putting a lot of glue on there so it'll be nice and thick. Let it cool for a second. And add another big dollop in the middle. What this is going to do is allow the glue to sink right through the wire and to be raised up. Roughly putting it equal distances between the top and the side. Like that. There we go. That's that. And we don't even have to wait for this. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Oh, because I didn't clean the sides. Bad, bad, bad me. I'm going to take a little bit of the Deco Crackle Glaze and I'm going to apply it to the piece in a very, very thin layer. The whole piece will be crackled, but the cracks will be so small. And you got to work fast with this. You can't overwork it. If you want thicker cracks, just put on more medium. It'll take longer to dry though. I want the cracks to be quite thick here. And you could even have done the crackle glaze before. That would have worked as well. Let's clean the inside. Alrighty. I'm thinking now the gloss varnish I am not going to need. Okay, just to see if I can show you the cracks. Very, very fine. Looks so pretty. Gives a little shimmer to it. And what I want to do now is, I need some, the corner needed something, so got these little wood cutouts here. They were 50% off at Michael's, and I didn't want to put the whole thing because it was too big. So because these are thin enough, it's the same material as all those wood die cuts that I'm using. I cut the corner off. These are cuttable, and then I just got this little piece like this, and I'm just going to paint it with translucent white because I want the grain to show through. I don't want to cover up the burn marks of the side, the dark brown pieces. That's what happens when it goes through the machine. The other part I am going to cover up is where I cut it. Make sure you don't put too much paint on there. Oh, it'll take me longer to scoop that back up into the bottle. And then what I'm going to do, all that aside. This always makes a mess. Then when you use the Decor Media Shimmer Mister, hopefully it's not clogged up. Yeah, it is. It always clogs up. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there. Then use the same brush. And this is semi-translucent. So it'll have a light shimmer on it. I don't want to use metallics because it would be too much. Now I'm just going to let that dry. We'll just glue that on there. And you know what else you could put on there? You could put a little, like a little pearl or something on there, just in that corner. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff in here. This is where you can actually dry fit stuff quite easily. I could put put a black one in there. I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Only because it's not going to make any sense because it's cut in half. But if you had a square one, which I do, a square one might work. I think I think I'm going to leave it. Or use something really, really tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny. Let me just try this. Just find that this little corner here is lacking something. Let's see what that looks like. If I put it more in the middle, that makes sense. Right there. That makes sense. So I think I'll do that. Too bad these weren't available in red. And I'm going to actually let me glue this down first. I'm going to be using my glue gun. I'll get rid of all the strands after. And I don't mind if this artwork sticks out past the card. And then I'll use the decoupage medium. Oh my god, this thing's tiny. On the back. So with a small brush, get the glue on there. Then you can just turn it around and pop it right there. These are too tiny for me. Nope, that wasn't enough. Let's try that again. Probably these little gluey things is that there's the adhesive on the back, so it's a little bit harder. So there you go. This is a very thick card. So this would be not regular postage, but it would be the next one up if I wanted to send this. It's got a little bit of weight to it, but still under the maximum. I think this is so adorable. It's so cute. So there we go. So again, you don't want to make these for the holidays. You just change up the quote, you just change up the image and change up the die cuts. It's so simple. You just kind of, make them up as you go. And I really hope that you enjoyed this. And you know what? I forgot. I'm going to get some burnt umber to finish the sides. I hope that you enjoyed this and that you will share in the comments below what you thought of the video. And also if you've been inspired on making your own little miniature art. What are the types of things that you've created? And I would love it if you would share a picture with me, so you can either email it to me or share it in our private Facebook group. Links to both of those are on my website at artplace.ca. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any videos that are coming up. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the process of this. And again, comment below if you've made miniature art and share the types of art that you've created. Now I'm really done. Alrighty, so I'm going to clean up this horrible mess and I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay inspired.